Hello, and welcome to Filmsquatch, the podcast where two guys from the Deep South watch and review movies about Bigfoot. It's that simple. Each episode takes a look at a single film about a Sasquatch or a Yeti, and the guys break it down for you. Patrick and Kendall are true believers, but they're too old, too fat, and too lazy to get up off their sofas and go hunt for a Sasquatch themselves. So they just sit back and watch movies about them. Now, let's head over to the Filmsquatch screening room, where Patrick and Kendall are ready to discuss their latest film.
Everybody, welcome back to another episode of Filmsquatch, the only podcast you should be listening to, where the Crazy Cajun and myself, Patrick Bennett, talk about Bigfoot movies, except for tonight, where the Crazy Cajun wants to talk about another movie that has nothing to do with Bigfoot, but he thinks it does.
Oh boy.
But since we love the Crazy Cajun so much, we're going to let him do his thing tonight, all right?
So, Bob, have you ever been camping before?
Yes, of course I've been camping before.
Bob's publisher can't wait to read the first draft of his next book.
You've been talking about this for years now.
Let's dial back on you being so miserable.
I apologize, but my wife is...
Alive. I'm alive. Go look for specimens. Get away from me for one.
I love you.
I love you more.
Am I here?
You are here.
I thought it went this way. All right, I need to go this way. Bear with me 1 second, please.
Hey, you the butterfly guy?
Well, butterflies and moths. This is north. No, this is north. Oh, where's the trail? I'm lost! Get out of the way! Hey!
How long you been on the trail?
I don't know. I guess I've lost track.
Seems ill-advised to be hiking so long without a radio or rifle. What if you run into a bear?
Why can't you see yourself as beautiful as I see you?
She thought you were a Bigfoot.
Do I look like a goddamn Bigfoot to you?
So, you're married?
I fell in love with her the second I heard her name. Tia Linnea.
Linnea. Like the little twin flowers.
Of course. The only dangerous animals I've run into are your men.
Well, you've been through an awful lot these last few years. It's only going to get worse and worse until there ain't nothing left.
What happens next, but I'll be ready.
So Kendall wanted to talk about The Dark Divide, a butterfly movie from 2020. So Kendall, I'm going to let you take it from there.
Okay. 2020's The Dark Divide is based on a book by butterfly expert Robert Pyle, who goes on a journey to do research on a specific type of butterfly to see how rare they are.
Wait, not a Bigfoot?
No.
A butterfly?
No, it takes place in the 90s. This is a true story. Now, it is altered for entertainment purposes. Pyle goes into the forest for a 6-week. It's supposed to be a 4-week excursion. I think it ends up taking him 6 weeks. And he's dealing with the loss of his wife to cancer. and he's finding himself, he's finding butterflies, and he might be finding Bigfoot. And it stars David Cross as Robert Pyle, and then Deborah Messing as his wife. And David Koechner has a small role in the film. And then also for fans of Resident Alien, you'll recognize Gary Farmer.
Gary Farmer
as the
yeah, I love that
foreman of
guy.
the
He's a
one of the
good
logging
actor.
crews
Yeah,
that
love
he
him.
encounters in this film. Patrick, I know you do not consider this a Bigfoot movie, but Pyle, I think he's a doctor, so I'm going to call him Dr. Pyle. If I'm wrong, I apologize, but Dr. Pyle is a legitimate scientist who went on this research trip and made a lot of bad choices. He ends up in a lot of trouble and a lot of danger. Really, he almost dies a few times just out of sheer stupidity. In some cases, some of the dumb things that he does, and he almost gets shot at one point in this film. And he's just he's an interesting guy. Now, I've listened to interviews with the real Dr. Pyle, and he is not as quirky as David Cross portrays him in this film. He's not kind of Cross's portrayal of the character comes across as kind of self-centered. He thinks a lot about himself and not so much about anyone else. Um, Patrick, what did you think as far as the acting is concerned? How do you think that the cast did? There's this very small cast in this film. It's mainly
Yeah,
David Cross
very
for
much.
most of
But
the
yeah,
movie.
David Cross and Deborah Messing, they did a really good job. I thought all the cast did an excellent job. And of course, we mentioned Gary Farmer. I just love seeing him in this film.
Yep, he's
But yeah,
great.
they all
He's
did a
great.
wonderful job.
Yeah, David Cross, for those of you who aren't aware, he was on Arrested Development. He was in the Alvin and the Chipmunks movies. He's been in a ton of stuff. And he's one of those guys who's been in so many movies. I can't just think of him off the top of my head. And you got to go digging for him. And he's been in a bunch of movies. He's hilarious. He's a great comedian. He was in Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. He was in Megamind, The Umbrella Academy, uh, Teenage Euthanasia, Summer in Argyle, and I could go on and on and on. Of course, Deborah Messing is probably best known for being in Will and Grace.
Yeah.
And her in particular in this film, the makeup department did an amazing job because I think Deborah Messing is a very beautiful woman, and she looks like hell in this movie. They may really make her look like she's suffering from cancer, and she does a really good job of selling the pain that she's going through, and also just the emotional struggle that she's going through in this film. And then David Cross is just goofy as all get out half the time. You get to see his butt. Spoiler alert. They show his butt a couple times in this movie. And I thought, Gary Farmer did a great job. David Koechner, Kimberly Guerrero, and Cameron Esposito also did very good jobs in this film. David Koechner's character, he's a white man who is married to a Native woman, and you can tell he's had a rough life. His character and his wife's grandmother, or I'm sorry, his wife's mother, has had a rough life. But along the way, David Cross, like I said, he makes a lot of dumb decisions in this movie. He endangers himself on multiple occasions. And David Cross does a very good job of presenting himself as kind of a highly intelligent idiot. Now, I do think the cinematography in this film is amazing. Jumping into that right now, I mean, the cinematography is excellent. I mean, but anytime, I mean, it's a gimme in most of these films, these Bigfoot features, because they're almost always in the Pacific Northwest, and it's kind of hard to not make that look good. I mean, it's a beautiful area. There's some great scenes. There's some action in a cave. There's a sequence in a cave I thought was done extremely well because David Cross is losing light, and they played that up great with noises and everything else. And you really don't know if Cross's character, if Pyle is actually hearing and seeing half of the stuff that he hears and sees, because it seems like he's hallucinating a lot in this movie, just maybe out of hunger or whatever. I don't know. What else do you want to talk about in this one, Patrick? You talk about the poster?
Yeah, the poster that shows a big butterfly on it and has nothing to do with Bigfoot. Doesn't even allude to that this is a Bigfoot movie because it's not.
It is a Bigfoot movie.
It's a butterfly movie.
Because and actually
look, we're going to announce tonight Kendall's starting a spin-off podcast called Butterfly Squatch.
I mean, there's one poster that features Cross and Messing on the poster, and then David Cross walking across a log. It's a pretty good poster. Nothing fantastic. I can't say much about that. You want to talk about the creature in the film, Patrick?
What creature? The butterfly?
No, we do see hints of Bigfoot.
Hints.
Yes, there are hints of a creature in this
So
film.
if I saw a taco in a movie, does that make it a taco movie? No.
Well, we do see a Bigfoot print.
At least you would see a taco in a taco movie.
We do hear some whoops and hollers. We hear some knocking noises, rock throwing. David Cross has an encounter with some Department of Wildlife, no, not Department of Wildlife, Forestry Department people. And they talk to him about Bigfoot
for about 30 seconds.
Whenever he meets with the Native Americans and David Keckner, they tell him stories about Bigfoot. And then of course, spoiler alert, I'm going to spoil this movie. It's been out for 5 years. So at the end of the film, something is thrown at his car whenever he is trying to leave after he's been in the woods for 6 months. He's kind of delirious. What did you think about those sequences, Patrick? In particular, the Bigfoot sequences without a Bigfoot in them.
You still can't convince me that this is a Bigfoot movie.
Hey, look, what does Filmsquatch do? What is the purpose of this podcast?
To review Bigfoot movies. Not Butterfly.
We watch every Bigfoot movie out there, and this is a Bigfoot movie.
This is not a Bigfoot movie.
This is a Bigfoot movie. Yes,
it's not even remotely connected to Bigfoot.
It's probably grounded more in reality than any of the other movies we've watched. Let's be honest here. Outside of maybe The Legend of Boggy Creek,
which was a good movie about Bigfoot.
Very good movie. My favorite movie, Bigfoot movie wise. But yeah, The Dark Divide definitely falls into the Bigfoot category. It's just not a horror movie or an action movie
or a Bigfoot movie.
Oh gosh.
Come on, Crazy Cajun.
Look, I don't care what you say. This is a Bigfoot movie. Bigfoot's in it. And Pyle has gone on record as saying, he encountered something out there, and he's gotten deeper into Bigfoot research. So I think people that appreciate actual Bigfoot research, and I'm not talking about just horror movie buffs, but people that like Bigfoot research, I think they'll appreciate this film for who it's about and what he's doing in this movie. And of course, if you're an eco warrior, you're going to like it because there's some sabotaging of logging equipment with the owl. I can't remember the owl that's in that film. But I remember back in the 90s, they were trying to stop the deforestation in Washington State and up in Oregon for that one owl. I can't remember what it was called. It was an endangered species. It's mentioned in this film. And yeah, it's kind of a nostalgic trip as far as that, because I remember that. I remember listening to the eco people talk about that back in the 90s, the good old 90s. And the butterfly sequences are great. Is there anything else you want to talk about on this? We need to drag this episode out since there's no Bigfoot in it. We need to drag this episode out.
We can go right to the ratings. I'll let you start it off.
Well, let's talk a little bit more. We haven't talked about our favorite scenes. What is your favorite scene in this film?
The end credits.
Oh, God. I knew you were going to say that. Well, no, I take that back. I didn't think you were going to say the end credits. I thought you were going to say one of the few times that we see David Cross's butt. I figured that's what would be your favorites. No, my favorite sequence is whenever he encounters the owl. And he stumbles on those two guys who were former loggers, and he tells them that he got scratched on the head by an owl because he got scratched. He's got that scratch on his head. I thought that scene was nice. It was a nice way for him to say goodbye to his wife. I thought they did a real good job with that. And yeah, now since we've gotten our favorite parts of the film out of the way, we're going to go ahead and talk about the Bigfoot rating on a scale of 1 to 10.
Oh, wait, you don't want to talk about the Bigfoot costume?
Yes. Yes.
We can't. We can't. There's no Bigfoot in this movie.
Just because there's not a Bigfoot in it doesn't mean it's not a Bigfoot movie.
It's not even about Bigfoot.
There's no Bigfoot costume in this movie, but this is a Bigfoot movie.
All right, Crazy Cajun.
There are hints and traces of him in there.
Your rating of this movie. Give it to us.
As a Bigfoot movie, okay. On a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being the worst Bigfoot film ever made and 10 being the greatest Bigfoot movie ever made, which in my opinion is The Legend of Boggy Creek, I give The Dark Divide, based on a true story, a 5. 5 Bigfoot tracks out of 10. It is not your typical Bigfoot movie. If you're looking for blood, guts, and gore, there's none of that. Well, there's some blood in here because David Cross gets messed up pretty bad a couple of times. He craps himself once in the film. This is not an amazing Bigfoot movie. It's a very good documentary type film, or autobiographical film, I guess you'd say. And so I'm going to give it a 5, even though there is 0 Bigfoot appearances in it. We get hints of Bigfoot, we get sounds, we get noises, much like in Willow Creek.
Although Willow Creek is a Bigfoot movie. They set out to find Bigfoot. They talk about Bigfoot throughout the entire movie.
I get that.
Interview people about Bigfoot.
I get that. But I will die on this hill, man.
100 times more a Bigfoot movie than this film.
We should mention that the location. Actually, you know what? You give me your rating. Well, so what is your rating, Patrick? I'm pretty sure I know what it is.
I bet you don't. All right. Well, look, if I was rating a butterfly movie, I'd probably give this one, decent score. But since it's not a butterfly, since you say it's not a butterfly movie, and this is Filmsquatch, where we rate Bigfoot movies, bro, I'm straight up. I give The Dark Divide as a Bigfoot movie a big fat 0.
0.
See, 0.
I knew you were going to give it a 0.
Yeah.
Because this is not your type of movie.
No, my type of movie is Bigfoot movies. And that's what Filmsquatch is.
And this is a Bigfoot movie.
We might as well been reviewing Pee-wee's Big Adventure on this episode, because that's just as much of a Bigfoot movie as this one.
There are hints of Bigfoot in this film. And whether you like it or not, it's a Bigfoot movie. I'll say this. Let's give it to the audience. Listeners, please let us know. Do you think The Dark Divide is a Bigfoot movie? Not necessarily slashers and gore type Bigfoot film, but a Bigfoot movie about an individual focusing on one human being and his experiences while he's in the forest. It's actually the Gifford Pinchot National Forest. That's where it takes place. Woo! And the area he's in isn't some sinister place, the Dark Divide. It's named after a man named John Dark, which you got to admit, that's a pretty cool name to have the name John Dark. But yeah, that's what I have to say about this movie. There is no physical Bigfoot in it that we see, but there are hints and traces of him throughout the film once David Cross hits the forests. This is a good movie. I definitely recommend it. It's not, like I said, it's not a horror movie. It's not an action movie. It's just an introspective look into this guy's life.
Movie, it's mediocre. The Butterfly Effect was a better butterfly movie.
Well, look, since we definitely have different opinions on this film and on what type of movie it actually is, why don't we talk about something that's coming up on August 30th, 2025?
Yes. We're talking about the Boggy Creek Monster Mingle. And it's going to be in Falk, Arkansas on August 30th, 2025. And you need to make plans to get your butt down there right now, because it's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of adventure. We're going to be meeting some Bigfoot celebrities like independent filmmakers, actors. hopefully some authors, our friends at the Boggy Creek Boutique
Yep.
are helping co-run this event, and it's gonna be at their location, inside and out in their parking lot. There's gonna be vendors, hopefully some live music. They're scheduling a food truck. We're inside. Film Squatch is going to be doing a pop-up short film festival. We have 10 short Bigfoot films on the lineup right now. So it's going to be a great day. Come out. And then at the end of the festival, that evening when it gets dark, outside, we're going to be screening Mitch Lang's Bigfoot feature film, The Bog Man. So if you haven't seen that, make sure you head over to Falk. If you're not familiar with Falk, which you should be, that's where the legend of Boggy Creek took place. The little town that was terrorized by the Falk monster for decades. So come on over there with us and let's terrorize it some more. The Falk.
Yeah, we're also going to, you mentioned that we're going to have 10 short films. A couple of those films are award winners. Short film, students film Cryptid Crisis. And we're also going to have Bigfoot. And I say it like that because there's a space between the big and the foot, which was an amazing short film. And we've interviewed both of those filmmakers on this podcast. And you can also go back and check out our interview with Mitch Lang and our review of The Bog Man if you want to know what you're getting into before you come to the Monster Mingle. And if you do show up and you disagree with us, let us know. If you don't think The Dark Divide is a Bigfoot movie, I want to hear your argument for why it isn't a Bigfoot movie. I mean, Patrick sold that it's not a Bigfoot movie. I believe it is. But we're going to have some fun out there. Falk is one of the coolest places on earth. It's unique. It's fun. It will probably be hot because it'll be in August.
Oh, yeah.
But it'll be worth the sweat to come out and have a good time. Jeff and Cindy Sheldon, the owners of the Boggy Creek Boutique, are two of the coolest people you will ever meet. If you've never been to their store, come check them out. They treat me and Patrick like we're family. And I mean, we love them to death. They are a great couple. So you guys be sure. And if you can't make it to the Monster Mingle, but you are able to make it to Falk, stop by the Boggy Creek Boutique and support them. Check out all the stuff they've got there. They've got some amazing Bigfoot related items. They have locally made items. And they also have Dungeons and Dragons. They have videos. They have all kinds of stuff there. So definitely recommend visiting the Boggy Creek Boutique.
I like all the homemade stuff they sell, like the jars of salsas and jams and jellies and
absolutely
just all kinds of food items like that. It's really good.
Yeah, it's not stuff you're going to find at Kroger or any of the big stores. You've got to come to Falk and get the good stuff, the homemade stuff here. And Patrick, is there anything else you want to add, or is there any upcoming things we got?
I want to say by the time this episode airs, our Filmsquatch merchandise page on our website should be live. So if you want one of the coolest t-shirts on earth, head on over to filmsquatch.com and go to the merchandise page and buy your Filmsquatch t-shirt. And like some of those lame t-shirts, or unlike some of those lame t-shirts that just has a logo on it and that's it, we have our logo emblazed across the front, but on the back, we also have some writing, some cool writing. It says, watch your back, Bigfoot is out there. Just like we say at the closing of every one of our awesome episodes. So yeah, go over there and get your t-shirt. We also have coffee mugs and a parody poster of Crazy Cajun, myself, and Squatchy from Sasquatch Sunset, but this is called Filmsquatch Sunset. 11 by 17 poster, suitable for framing in your nice home for all of your company to see. Great conversation starter piece, you know.
Absolutely. Whenever they see it and they say, "What's that all about?" Tell them it's about butterfly movies and Bigfoot.
Yeah. But yeah, you can be one of our top mega fans, you know. And also, when you do get the shirt in, snap a picture of you wearing it and send it to us, and we'll get it up on our social media pages and on our website, and we'll tell everybody how great of a fan you are. And speaking of these super mega fans, I just want to give a shout out. I was checking our stats for the podcast, and we jumped from 10 countries now to 14 countries listening to Film Squatch. And I just want to go over the top is still the US, but we have followed secondly by Germany, Singapore, the Philippines, Sweden, Australia, Mexico, Ireland, Italy, United Kingdom, Netherlands, Japan, Colombia, and Brazil. That's who's been listening to us this past month. And also, I want to say our top listeners of the month are from Frankfurt, Germany. So
Awesome.
I want to thank all of our German brothers and sisters out there for listening to Film Squatch. And we're so excited to have Germans listening to us. I mean, when I think of Germany, I think of things like David Hasselhoff, bratwurst sausage, apple strudel, and now, of course, Film Squatch. All right. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And in the US, our top listeners come from this month, come from St. Louis, Missouri. So it's great to have all you listening. We really appreciate you. Thanks for the support. And we can't wait to have other people join in and listen to the podcast. It's growing slowly, but it's growing.
And for those St. Louis listeners, go Billikens. You know what I'm talking about. I'm a huge Billikens fan. Patrick, you don't know anything about this. I'm talking soccer or
Probably
football.
has something to do with butterflies.
Football, as our friends across the pond call it. For those of you who don't know, my son plays soccer. He's heavily into it, and I've never played, but he's hooked me onto the sport. And yeah, the St. Louis Billikens are one of my favorite collegiate teams. So go Billikens for all my St. Louis listeners. From time to time, you might see me wearing a Billikens cap because I do own a Billikens cap, and I got a Billikens shirt too, an SLU shirt. So thank you guys for listening all across the world, all the countries, and all you folks here in the United States that listen to us. We really appreciate each and every one of you. Honestly, you don't know what it means for us to know that there are people all over the world that listen to us. I mean, for me to go to some of my friends and say, "Hey, we're big in Thailand." I mean, that's something you don't get to say very often. So I'm very proud to say we've got listeners in Thailand, the Philippines, Germany, all those great countries. And so with that said, and if you don't have anything else to mention, anything upcoming, you do. All right. What else you got coming up?
I just want to say, coming up next month will be our second issue of the Film Squatch Quarterly magazine. So if you have a Bigfoot film that you're working on, a narrative film, it could be a feature, a short, whatever, let us know about it. We'll get you, we'll talk about you in the magazine. We'll even try to get you on an episode of our podcast. We'll also add you to the upcoming films list we have growing on our website. And I just want to say that quarterly magazine, the second issue will be out. We're going to have some great content in it again for you. And we can't wait to see it. And also with that said, I want to say our third annual Film Squatch Bigfoot short film competition or challenge is underway. You still have plenty of time to get your short in to us. Has to be a Bigfoot narrative short film, 30 minutes or less. And you have time to go out and film one. If all you have is a cell phone to film with, that's fine. You don't have to have any kind of special knowledge about filmmaking or anything. This could be something you do with your friends, your family, a work group, a church group, a sports group, any kind of friends just hanging out, having fun. Go out, make a movie. It could be 2 or 3 minutes. It doesn't matter. You don't have to be professional. Just get it shot, send it to us, and we will show it during our competition, which takes place October 4th at the Lake Charles Film Festival in Lake Charles, Louisiana. It'll be shown in front of a live audience, and the winner of that competition gets a $200 cash prize, a trophy, a swag box, and of course, bragging rights. You can tell everybody you made the best Bigfoot film of the year. So wouldn't you like to do that? Just grab your phone and go out right now. It could take you a Saturday with you and your friends. Just go shoot a movie. Doesn't have to make sense. It just has to be a Bigfoot movie, not a butterfly movie. Make sure you have a Bigfoot in it. So there you go. We already talked about the monster mingle, and that's about all I've got, Kendall.
Okay. Well, with that being said, I know how big a fan you are of butterfly catching. So whenever you go out into the forest in Southwest Louisiana and Southeast Texas, maybe you're on the Sabine River somewhere, frolicking in the bushes with your butterfly net. Is there any information that you could give anyone, any other fellow butterfly catchers out there? Is there any information you'd want to give them before they head out on their next butterfly catching foray?
Well, I wouldn't be too worried out there. It's just a bunch of butterflies around. No sign of Bigfoot. Whoa, what's that? Wait, something's coming up on us. No, seriously, man, if you're out and about around the big thicket or the Sabine or anywhere in Louisiana, just watch your back. Bigfoot's out there.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Filmsquatch. If you like the podcast, please leave us a 5-star review and tell your friends about us. Make sure to like us on Facebook and join in on some of our interactive discussions. Remember, Bigfoot is out there. Watch your back.